Spider-Man, Spider-Man, doing stuff with Iron Man. That's right, baby. It's time for movie trailer trash. Enjoy.
Hey, everybody. We just watched the trailer for Spider-Man Homecoming.
Woo!
I am Bethany.
Woo!
Stop it. I am Bethany.
And I'm Charlie / Spider-Man.
He is not Spider-Man, and this is movie trailer trash.
Welcome all, welcome one, welcome all, welcome Spider-Man fans and non-Spider-Man fans. But if you're not a Spider-Man fan, you get out right now.
I will apologize right now for the weird opening. My husband is being odd.
Why?
You're being a little odd.
You want to know why?
Dragging it out a little.
Because Spider-Man time.
Okay, so yeah, I haven't really thought much about this. I've seen the trailer twice now. Once just now and then once the other day. I guess I will say Charlie's very excited about anything that has Spider-Man.
Yes, that is the thing about me. So with all of this stuff that I'm about to say, take it with a grain of iodized salt.
Yeah.
Because I basically will like whatever iteration of Spider-Man is put forth in front of me. I even like that Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah,
that's
so he
goofy.
loves Spider-Man. Spider-Man's his favorite of all of the superheroes, which is odd to me.
I'm just
with
that
all
jackass
of
a person who just wants to see Spider-Man on a movie screen.
That's fine.
No matter what.
No, that's fine. I'm just surprised. It just is weird to me that anybody would have Spider-Man as their favorite when there are so many incredible superheroes.
Most people have Spider-Man
He's a
as their
teenager.
favorite. Yeah, that's why.
So when they were little kids, they thought he was their favorite. But now you're an adult, so think about how cool the other people are.
The only reason I like superheroes is because I liked them when I was a kid.
Get over it. Grow up.
No, he's the best for a multitude of reasons that we can or cannot go into if you want.
No, we'll see. But first of all, I will say this. I really liked Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Charlie liked them all, as he stated. He really has. He's enjoyed them all. I thought that it was weird that Andrew Garfield got so much flack. I thought he was a great Spider-Man. He was very funny. People said he wasn't a very good Peter Parker. He wasn't awkward enough and weird enough. However, I don't think this kid's going to be either. He looks just as cool and casual as any cool casual high schooler you could be.
Really?
Yeah. His friend looks like a dork. And his other friend looks like a dork.
You just liked his abs.
No. I'm saying when he's sitting there in school,
he's not actually
like
a high
cool
schooler,
kid.
So you don't have to feel bad about it.
No, but I'm saying when he's sitting there in school at the lunch table, he does not look like the nerd or the outcast by any means.
He acts like it, though. We already saw that in Civil War. He's good at acting like that.
I don't know.
Whereas
he just
Andrew
has a weird
Garfield
voice. That's all he has is a weird voice.
No, and he like stutters and skips and it cracks and all of that stuff.
Yeah, but like
he's nervous.
when he's around superheroes, anybody would stutter and skip when Captain America comes over to them and says, "Hey kid, how's it going?" You're gonna be like, "Hey, I like you." Yeah. Anybody's gonna do that. But when he's with his high school friends, he's just like,
no, just that one
pretty
friend.
Girl.
You're always even the nerd is comfortable with their.
That's
best
true.
friend.
I guess they didn't really show him as Peter Parker, really.
Right.
In like interacting with anyone besides people he's comfortable with.
It's just like when he puts on the Spider-Man suit, he is ultra confident.
Well,
obviously,
I get
jokes.
that. I totally get that.
Which, by the way, there's like 8 writers for this movie credited.
Yeah.
Which can be a good or a bad thing, but almost all of them, all of their writing credits are for comedies. Mm-hmm. Like the first 2 writers that came up were the writers for Horrible Bosses.
Okay.
And then there were other ones who did stuff for TV shows like Community and a few other things, but yeah. So
I mean, that's good. That's surprising to me though, because it didn't look that funny. Like It had the one scene, and it was kind of like the delivery wasn't good. So okay, for those of you, if you haven't seen the trailer, I recommend going and watching it and then listening to the rest of this. We have a link underneath on our website.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a part in the trailer where a bunch of people are using Avengers masks while they rob like a bank or something, and he's like, "Wait a second, you guys aren't the real Avengers."
First of all, that scene's probably cut up sound-wise.
Yeah, probably, but
that
I'm just
scene
saying,
probably takes like 1 to 2 minutes, and they had to cut it down, and so it sounds weird.
But just going off of what we saw, the delivery was really poorly done. It was just like that. Oh, it's funny. The Hulk gives it away. Ha ha.
Well,
it was bad delivery.
He's like a cheesy dad humor kind of guy when he's in the Spider-Man suit.
You can be funny with dad humor. Like Andrew Garfield is hilarious when he's in the Spider-Man suit. Everything he says is delivered really well. It's really clever. It makes you laugh out loud. With this, I'm worried about it. I'm not saying he won't be, but it's surprising to me because the trailer itself was mostly action and not a lot of humor.
I think you're just
maybe they're saving it.
Butthurt because
No.
you liked Andrew Garfield and no one else did.
I also like
and
I
everyone
care.
loves this guy.
No, that's not true either. That's not
Tom
true.
Holland?
That's not true. Okay. Everybody, I'm gonna get mad at my husband right now. You're
Do
gonna
it.
hear it because he's just wanting to make me mad. So you're all gonna hear it. I really like Spider-Man as Tobey Maguire. I liked the
Yeah,
first
those movies
Spider-Man,
were
the
good.
second Spider-Man, the third Spider-Man. Everybody hates and for good reason, but it wasn't his fault.
It wasn't his fart.
It wasn't. It wasn't his fault.
It wasn't Tobey Maguire's fart.
I think that Andrew Garfield was great, way funnier than Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, that's true.
He was better suited. He didn't look like a 35-year-old man. Like from the very beginning, Tobey Maguire. I think from birth, Tobey Maguire has looked like a 35-year-old man.
Really? I mean, both
So-
of them looked like they were in their mid-20s. Neither of them
Andrew
looked like they
Garfield
were
did
in high
not look
school.
like a high schooler, but he
Yeah.
looked a lot more like a high schooler than Tobey Maguire. That's all I'm saying. And
that
so that's
Tobey
fine.
Maguire
So,
face when he's stopping the train.
so the whole, the progression as they continue to do more Spider-Mans, they are doing better and better at realizing they have to actually get someone that looks like a high schooler. So that's cool. I know a lot of the people that tried out for this Spider-Man were really small people, like Moises.
Moises.
Yeah, that's his first
Moises
name.
Alou?
No, that's his first name, and I don't know his last name, but he was from Hannah Montana and Ender's Game.
Oh, and you're
He's
also
the
bitter
guy-
about that.
I wanted to play it because I really like that guy because that guy's really hilarious and a good actor. But however, you can tell that they were going for someone that looked like a high schooler that was
Yeah,
short in
'Cause that's
stature,
been the complaint for
but
the...
was somebody that was short
other
in
two
stature
movies.
and skinny. Because even though not all high schoolers are short, it's a lot easier to make a short man look like a high schooler than a tall man.
Mhm.
It just is. And this guy really looks almost exactly like Moises. So
All the high schoolers look like high
You know.
schoolers in this.
yeah.
Whereas before you had...
Which I think they've
25
been
to
doing better about
30-year-old
that in general
adults.
recently. Like with the high schoolers that are in the X-Men movies, they all look pretty young. Like I think they've been doing better. Not in maybe X-Men First Class, but in the new one that came out. They all looked pretty young.
Mhm.
So they've been doing a little better at that. Like in movies like Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, like those kids obviously look like they're in high school. They might even be in high school. They've been
it
doing
also
a lot
helps
better.
that he was introduced with all of the superheroes, all of them, like, men and adult grown
that
women
helps a lot.
with them, and he spends a lot of time with Robert Downey Jr. on screen, who is 50 years old.
Yeah,
and, so,
he's
you know,
actually a lot older than him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's good. It helps to establish the dynamic. It's not just a bunch of adults pretending to be in high school together. I mean, it is probably, but yeah.
I think that's going to be the main relationship in this movie is
him and Robert.
yeah, him and Spider-Man and Iron Man.
Yeah. Okay. So the new Spider-Man, I actually am butthurt about one thing. There's one thing I'm butthurt about. He literally ruined my experience seeing the last Captain America movie.
No,
it wasn't
he
his
didn't
fault.
do it.
It wasn't
the
his
crowd
fault.
did
Not
it.
by any means.
That's the reason we don't
But-
go to opening nights now
yeah.
at AMC.
And so if you are a listener, if you're an avid listener, we have a few of you out there, you know why we don't go to the opening
we say
night.
this basically every episode.
No, not every episode, but it's important to me because I don't think that there will be a superhero movie in my lifetime that I will be as excited about as I was for Civil War. Because Captain America is my favorite and Iron Man is close second. And the idea of having like an emotional, painful like fight between the two of them, I was so excited for
Well,
it.
and there might be better ones that come out.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying that I'll be more
but
excited
they'll
about.
be-
Probably not.
Yeah, but they'll surprise you.
Yeah.
So like I think Thor Ragnarok's going
Absolutely.
to be amazing, but it'll
Absolutely.
surprise you because you won't be
Well, I'll still be
expecting it.
excited about lots of movies, but that one
you'll
I was
probably-
saying might have been my favorite movie ever. Not now that I saw it, but
You'll
beforehand.
probably like or enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy more
Oh,
than Civil War, but
probably.
it might not be a better, quote unquote movie. It's like funny and silly.
Okay,
and goofy.
so yeah, I mean,
quote unquote movie.
oh my god. So for those of you who listen avidly, we did one on Civil War, and you heard me say like this might be my favorite movie of all time. I was so excited for it. So I realized that when you build something up in your mind, you are just asking to be let down. That's just the truth.
Mhm.
Sorry to be cynical, but that's true.
That's what
but I
happens.
didn't care because I wanted to let myself get excited. Because every time I got excited for like
That's what happened with the second
other
Avengers.
superhero movies, like the second Captain America, Avengers, and the second Avengers, I was never disappointed with any of those. I know a lot of people didn't like the second Avengers as much. I wasn't disappointed at all. In fact, I saw it twice in theater and was laughing my A off the whole time.
My A off.
My ass. But
My A off Hitler.
yeah, so no, okay. Edit, cut. So anyway, yeah, we went to the theater and a bunch of fanboys like my husband who were less respectful than my husband, just as soon as Spider-Man came on screen, they might as well have been little girls at a Backstreet Boys concert when I was back in 2000 because just 2000 because
I like how you went Backstreet Boys and not
I
the
was gonna say
Beatles or
NSYNC.
Elvis or one
no
of those
whatever
guys.
I was something I relate to, but like I was like they were being like, oh, I was like, oh my God, this
Wow.
is so annoying.
Yeah.
How annoying that was to you. Imagine if you're trying to watch one of your favorite movies potentially, and literally there was like 5 lines between him and Robert Downey Jr. that I was like, can't hear it.
Yeah, it was
Can't hear
annoying.
it. Can't hear it, guys. Can't hear it. You're excited, but you're missing the person you want to see.
Right.
And he did nothing. It was literally just his face. It wasn't even him as Spider-Man yet. They just knew that he was going to be Spider-Man, and he didn't do anything to warrant that. And yeah, and I had some people recently tell me like that I'm in the minority, that most people enjoy and think it's appropriate to clap and cheer in the theater.
Yeah,
And I disagree.
a lot of people like being in that atmosphere.
Yes, some people do, but I disagree
don't.
that most
Yeah.
people do. I don't think that the majority of people prefer that. I think that
Most people we know don't prefer
I
it.
think that the majority of people are okay with you being like, woo! And that's it. When you're, and I've done that before.
All right.
Yeah, like, Spider-Man!
Yeah.
You know, a couple
Yeah.
of little things. But if you're so obnoxious that we're missing the movie, then what is the point for you and for us? Why are you doing this to us? So I am a little butthurt about that. I went into seeing this trailer the other day when it first came out. I was like, okay, let's do this. Because I was like, I don't really like this kid. But it's not that I don't like the kid. It has nothing to do with him. He's probably a good actor. I do not like his voice. It's weird.
Yeah, he's got a Spider-Man voice. He's got Peter Parker voice.
It's not, though. It's like an old-timey 50s voice or something. Like, where is he pretending to be from? The Bronx? No.
Queens.
Queens. Yeah, I don't know. He has a... I
He's
don't
got
know
the
if-
voice. He's doing the
Is
voice
it supposed
of
to be
like
a New Yorker's accent? Because I don't know.
awkward, like high schooler.
But he's not, though. He's doing the voice of, like, really... and maybe that's what awkward high schoolers in New York sound like.
That's what I was so nasally
I
when
don't
I was in
know,
high
man.
school.
I don't know.
I'm a little nasally right now
Yeah.
just
Well,
because of where I'm from
so
and my nose.
That's the only real complaint when I came out of Civil War. The only real complaint I had about him was I didn't like his voice. It seemed really cheesy to me and fake sounding, like he was trying really hard to sound young. But other than that, he was funny. The lines he had were pretty funny, and I enjoyed it, except for the way people reacted to him. So I watched the trailer, not high expectations, and afterwards I was like, oh, that looks like it might be pretty good. And that's kind of how I came out feeling. I wasn't like, yeah, that'll be great. Which I did feel that way with the Andrew Garfield. I remember seeing the trailers and being like, oh, that looks good. I was like, I hate to admit it, but that looks good. Because I was mad when they made that too. Because I thought it was way too close to the other. Like, why do we have to keep making new reboots?
The thing with this one, with this trailer, getting back to it,
Yeah.
all of the stuff between him and Robert Downey Jr. looks great. Jon Favreau is going to be in it, and so that's fun.
Where?
What?
Jon Favreau?
Yeah, as Happy.
Happy.
His like assistant butler guy.
Whose assistant?
Robert Downey Jr.'s.
I didn't see him. I have no idea what you're talking about. Robert Downey Jr. has an assistant?
Yeah, it's the guy it's Jon Favreau. You know, remember when he's fighting with Scarlett Johansson? And then there's the part during Iron Man 3 where he has the iPad and it's holding up to his head and he said, is this for head of security?
I have no idea what you're talking
He
about.
dies in Iron Man 3, but not really. He almost dies.
Jon Favreau's in these movies? I have no idea. The guy from that did the Jurassic World?
What? No.
The guy who is in Daredevil?
No.
Who is that then?
That is Vince D'Onofrio. Sugar water.
Guys, this is going to take me a second because I'm real confused.
Jon Favreau made Jungle Book, and he was the director of the first
Yeah.
Iron Man. And
Isn't that the guy who plays Kingpin?
No, it's Vince D'Onofrio. You don't have to look it up. You don't have to look it up at all because this is I know this for a fact, and she's looking it up. wonderful.
I still don't believe you.
Anyway, so that part of it looks really good. Also, the action looks really good. Spider-Man no longer looks like a rag doll in the air, which he has forever. And it's not really been a big deal, but it still kind of bothers you. Then there is the classic Spider-Man trying to hold two giant things together at the very end, which is always great. That's in like every Spider-Man, everything.
Yeah, but I thought that was really unrealistic. I'm like, you're holding the entire ship together.
Well, that's like a cool thing about Spider-Man is that you don't really, that he's super strong, but you don't really know how strong he is. Like, he's not like Hulk or Superman strong.
He doesn't look strong, and you don't see him smashing things.
He's strong
like
enough that he can do amazing things, but he has to struggle really hard.
Well, it's not even that he's strong, it's that his web is super strong.
Well,
he's also strong,
he's holding
but
the thing together.
His web is super strong.
So, like, he's stronger than Winter Soldier and Captain America. So like, he's more than them, but he's not as strong as, like, Thor and the Hulk and...
So I still have no idea how Jon Favreau's in this movie. I didn't see him at all in the trailer. Was he in the trailer?
He's not in the trailer.
Okay. I still have no idea. I've seen his face now. I've looked it up, and I've looked up Vince D'Onofrio, and I have to admit, they look exactly the same to me. They look exactly the same to me. I see them as one and the same. I thought the guy who did the Jungle Book was the guy who was Kingpin.
Jon Favreau, Chef?
Yeah, I know. I thought that Chef was Kingpin. I thought they were the same person. They're still the same person to me.
They're not.
Anyway, beside the point, sorry for the tangent, but the things I liked about the trailer was that it didn't show any hint that it would even try and do an origin story.
Yeah, I forgot to say
That's the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
That's why I was mad when I heard about Andrew Garfield's movie. I was like, they're seriously going to go back and have him be like, oh, Ben, Uncle Ben. We get it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
I don't think they're doing it.
Spoiler
and
alert.
Also,
Uncle Ben is dead.
I think that...
We don't need to go through that again.
I think I heard somewhere that this movie is starting like halfway through the events of Civil War.
Yes.
So like right after Robert Downey Jr. or right after the airport scene of Civil War.
I think they're making it clear that it is because he has a flashback to the airport scene. Like,
he's watching it on his laptop in class.
Was he watching it? Oh, I thought that was in his head. No. But yeah, he's like in class, and so it clearly has happened. He's clearly met Robert already. And so Robert Downey Jr. Sorry, Iron Man already. Tony. But yeah, so that's my favorite thing about it. I've been saying this for a while now. Like, for all those ones like Batman and Spider-Man and maybe even Superman, for those ones that are so well known that like they still have modern day cartoons of them. They had cartoons of them forever ago. They're just so well known. Everyone knows their story. Stop making reboots of the origin story. It's fine if you want to reboot and have a new person play Batman, but why on earth during Batman v Superman did we have to have an entire like half an hour dedicated to showing his backstory? We know who Batman is. We understand his issues, you know? And that's how I felt with Spider-Man. So this will be hopefully good. It'll just give us an actual Spider-Man movie without making us feel bored like we're rewatching something with a different person.
So here are the things that make me nervous about it. First of all, the director has done basically nothing except for Cop Car, which is that creepy movie with Kevin Bacon where like he's a sheriff and two kids steal his cop car and it's out in the woods and some weird stuff is happening.
Never heard of it.
But that was the last movie that he did. And then everything else I've never heard of or is a short or is like random TV episodes or something like that. And so that makes me a little bit nervous.
Definitely.
And then also I just don't like the Vulture. Just as a bad guy, even in the comic books.
That's fine.
But I do love Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have kind of decided that like I'm not a big fan of most villains. It's hard to have a great villain.
Yeah, most of them are lame.
A large majority of them are lame. So I don't care. Like when they said they were going to have the lizard in the Andrew Garfield one, I was looking at you like, what? And you're like, yeah, he's like a man who's a lizard. I'm like, that's
And in the comic
dumb.
books, he's wearing a lab coat.
I was like, that's really dumb. And then, but then when we saw it, like, honestly, I was like, oh, wow. They made him really scary and interesting.
Well, the reason that they're lame is because all of these things were made for kids. And so it's just like, here's a guy who wants to, hurt Spider-Man or take over the world or something, you know.
And when it comes down to it, Batman and Spider-Man, like if you think about those things, they're lame, but we have time to develop those characters because the superheroes are around forever.
Yeah.
The villains die. So the superheroes, you have all these years and all these stories to give them character development and make them interesting. But with the villains, you don't have as much time to make them interesting. So I don't know anything about this villain.
The Vulture is basically an elderly man
What?
who has
Michael Keaton's not elderly.
Well, like in the comic books, he's like 75 years old.
Oh, wow.
And he has created this costume that has wings on it that allows him to fly around.
Yeah.
And he can fly. And basically his costume also has super strength, and he from time to time has the ability to steal youth from people.
So he's like the reverse Falcon.
Kind of, yeah. The old white Falcon.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't care about the character. I think Michael Keaton will do good.
Yeah, of course.
It's kind of like, who really cares about...
Well, like, because I just read
the Green Goblin, but what's-his-face did amazing as the Green Goblin.
I just read the first issue that the Vulture was ever in recently. Yeah. And he was stealing diamonds.
Yeah.
Just because he wanted to steal diamonds.
He wants to be rich, yeah.
Because and that's kind of what...
A lot of villains don't have anything that interesting.
Spider-Man villains are.
Yeah.
This is like, either I want to get Spider-Man for whatever reason, or I want to just steal and be a criminal.
And you got to realize, though, like, he's a kid, so he can't really fight any huge-time villains.
Well, and he can't leave Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly.
Or else he
won't be home in time for dinner. Oh.
No, because he can't swing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I was thinking his Aunt May would worry about him.
He either has to be in Manhattan or in a jungle.
Okay, before we get going to the next segment, what do you think about young Aunt May? Because a lot of people didn't like that.
At first, I was just like, no, that's dumb. I need old Aunt May because that's what Aunt May is like. But now I just don't care as long as she does a good job.
Yeah.
And also, I like the Tony Stark hitting on her thing. That's fun.
I don't ever really care about Tony Stark hitting on people. I like him a lot better when he's just happy with Pepper, but... Actually, I like him a lot better when he's interacting with the Hulk, but it doesn't matter. Her being young, I was like, what? Ew, gross. Aunt May is supposed to be like old, like an old lady, like elderly. Everything I've ever seen her in, the cartoons and stuff, she's elderly. So you just assume that she was probably a great aunt or something. Or whatever. Friend of the grandmas or something. But aunts can be young. I'm a young aunt. So... I'm cool with it, but it did take me back. It was like, what?
Well, yeah, it's just something that completely doesn't matter. It's just like when someone freaks out because they cast a superhero as a black guy and he isn't black in the comic books, and everyone's just like, what? No, that's not how it's supposed to be. And
or as a woman and it was a man, like Captain Marvel.
And then as long as they do a good job, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. I will say this, though. The only thing that kind of makes it different is that old Aunt May, she's very, very fragile. So it makes him that much more worried about her. He's always worried about Aunt May. He's worried she's going to get sick. He's worried someone's going to come after her. He's still going to be worried about Aunt May all the time.
Well, maybe that's
his
a good
parent
thing, because that can get kind of annoying.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, that's still his parental figure. That's still the person that he cares most about in the world. It's his only family. So he's still going to be very protective about Aunt May, not want to upset Aunt May. Like, that's still a thing. So I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah. I think she'll do a good job at the I know that you're Spider-Man, but I'm not going to tell you about it.
Yeah,
type thing.
That's good.
Because that's the main give and take from Aunt May.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to where, when, and how you're going to see this movie. Where, when, how are you going to see this movie?
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're going to see it in theater. Charlie would have it no other way, so I might as well concede to that now.
Opening night. Night.
If we're doing opening night, it has to be Alamo.
Yeah, I want it to be Alamo.
I refuse to go to a theater where they allow people to act like animals.
I bet they have Spider-Man themed food items.
Those 30 to 45-year-old men in that theater were animals. All those men that sit at home with their Spider-Man comic books piled high, they were animals, and I don't want to be in a theater with them.
Piled high.
So
that's
we'll
just,
go.
I mean, that's it.
That's fine. Alamo Draft House, because Alamo, and for those of you who don't live in an area near an Alamo Draft House, it's just a place where they have an absolute no talking, no texting, no calling, no being disruptive during the movie.
You could raise a card.
Yeah, if somebody's being rude or disruptive during the movie, you raise a little card, somebody comes by and sees it, and they kick them the heck out.
I think...
Nobody's ever had to do that, though, because people know the rules.
I'll probably even do the Cheating Thursday opening at 7 o'clock.
Why not?
Why not? You got to do it.
Yeah, I hate that they're doing that because it's a lie. They're like, ooh, look how huge our opening weekend was. And it's like, you opened on Thursday at 7 p.m. They're just doing it to trick us into thinking their numbers are better. But nonetheless,
I'll do it.
Yeah, gives us an opportunity. Why not?
I would rather do that than go at midnight.
Yeah, it was really, really fun when I was a kid to go at midnight. But as an adult, not as fun.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, it's like, ooh, I'm staying out late, gonna see a movie before anyone else. And that was fun, but
before we go to the next thing,
now.
The thing
We're
about
old.
being a fanboy of this thing to the point where I don't care if it's bad is that going in, I not only get to be really excited about it, but I basically can't be let down. Because it's just it'll be fun to.
Well, what about what about
Spider-Man
Spider-Man 3? Were you not let down in Spider-Man 3 or irritated?
I mean, it was.
You were pretty young.
It wasn't good.
You were still
and
in
I was
high
still
school.
fairly young. I mean, it wasn't.
I was in high school, so you must
it wasn't
have been
good.
early
Just
high
like
school.
I
remember
just like
being
the second Andrew Garfield one isn't a good movie.
But that one is far superior to the third one with Tobey Maguire.
It's just
that's
like,
how bad Tobey
it's
Maguire's
just like
third
I
one
get
was.
to see Spider-Man swing around.
Yeah,
and
there was still fun fight scenes. There's always fun fight
people
scenes
in the air. I like the fight scene in the second Amazing Spider-Man with Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx was great in that movie. I don't know what people's problem were.
People's problem
Worse.
Words. I don't know what people problems were.
Okay. Anyway, so I think that's pretty straightforward for us, and we think if you're gonna see it in the theater. Spider-Man swinging around. You got to have it big screen.
Absolutely.
All right. So, next thing we're gonna do is what is your Rotten Tomatoes score ideas?
Rotten Tomatoes percentages. Well, okay. Rotten Tomatoes scores. Now, I think that these are going to shock you from me.
Okay. Should I start?
No, I'm going to start.
Okay,
I'm going to shock you.
It's going to influence me, but okay.
I think that critics are going to give this movie a 81%.
Okay.
I think that audience members are going to give it a 99%.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
I think that audience will probably like it, judging by the reaction they had during his short scene in Civil War.
Would you call it a premature reaction?
Yeah.
Oh.
I would say that they probably will like it. I will say they give it 93%. It's pretty high. I think critics will, just like any superhero movie, it's got to be really good. Like Super Hoover. Okay, give me a second.
It's a really powerful vacuum.
Superhero movies have been doing better and better, but even still, critics are going to be judging it harshly. They're going to call it out if it's poorly written. They're going to call it out on all those things because just because superhero movies are popular right now, critics still think of them as like superhero movies. So if it's going to be good, it needs to be great.
But not really. The Marvel movies are kind of an exception to that.
I don't think so because
Doctor Strange got 90.
Okay. Well, I didn't see that yet, but I've heard really good things.
Civil War got 90, I think.
Okay, but what I'm saying is those are amazing movies. So when you say, oh, they don't do that with Marvel movies, you're giving into all of the DC fans who think that they're just being harsh on DC when really Zack Snyder is a terrible director.
Good.
Yes, Marvel has been really good. I'm saying I think critics are more likely to to nitpick some of the things that are bad about it because you know how intellectual critics are and they want to be intellectual, and so they're going to be like, well, if you're just into superheroes and having fun, they're like that.
But they might be right on this one.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's still critics. They're going to judge it as harshly as it needs to be judged, and if it's not great, they will point it out, I believe. I don't think it's going to be terrible though. So let's say 78%. I think that's fair. Also, I don't think Doctor Strange got that high with critics. I remember looking at it recently, and it was like in the 70s, I thought. But it doesn't matter. The point is, yes, I'll say 78%. I think that's fair.
I said he.
I don't think he gave it that. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, 91 from critics.
Really?
89 from audience.
What did I see where it was like lower? Anyway, doesn't matter.
Fantastic Beasts got 74. I think that's what you're thinking of.
And see, like, what? Well, we can't even really get into that, but what?
No, let's not talk about that now. But yeah, Spider-Man. I think that it will be awesome, and it'll be even more awesome if you like Spider-Man.
I think that's fair.
If you like Spider-Man, you are just gonna love you are just gonna love this movie.
I think that's fair to say, and I think that hopefully it will be good. I guess that's the thing. The trailer was fun, but they didn't really show a lot of substance in a way where you're like, oh, that's going to be great. It's just like, oh, that looks like fun.
Well, and it's the Vulture. He's got a
Yeah.
helicopter on his back.
I mean, think about like when we did see Civil War trailer. They made it very clear that it was going to be a movie with dynamic acting, that they were going to have, multidimensional characters and not just surface level characters. It was very clear that it was going to be a legit good movie. And then I think maybe because of that, I was a little disappointed, and I had my disappointments with that. But with this, they're kind of setting you up to not be disappointed. They're just like, look, it's going to be Spider-Man. He's going to fly around with his web. He even has his little flaps now.
Yeah, that's
from
the original.
Yeah, little flaps to help him glide.
Yeah, it's awesome.
He's going to be flying around,
They use the web
goofing around with
shooters
his
now.
friends, trying to prove himself, and it's fun. And so because they're not setting it up to show you how amazing it's going to be, I think that they're giving us a fair portrayal of what it will be.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, obviously.
Yeah, and I think it'll be good. It'll be fun.
All right, so that's
Good
another
times.
episode of Movie Trailer Trash. Let's wrap it up with some plugs. We are our website is mttpodcast.com. You can find us on Twitter at mttpodcast, where we put all of our episodes up, and sometimes a blog or sometimes a question. Who knows? What do you know? You can follow, subscribe, like, comment, do whatever you need to do on iTunes. Also go to YouTube, go to the Entertainment Buffet channel and give them a nice little subscribe-y and watch all their videos. They got some funny stuff on there.
Also, if there's anyone out there listening who's like, man, I love this podcast and I really would like for all of its listeners to know about my business, then hit us up on any of those platforms. Private message us on Twitter or something.
Know your business.
Because you can definitely sponsor an episode that's available to you.
Boom.
See you guys next time.
Bye.